I was talking to him this afternoon, but I forgot to mention it and he never said anything, so.
Well, I was texting him, so he's not gonna go
Yes,
unless he has.
I understand you guys are busy this weekend. Yes.
Welcome everybody to the September and August and probably July meeting of the Nottawa Hall Board. It's been a while. Did everybody get a chance to see the agenda?
Yep.
I'm looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, Carrie, is that a motion to approve the agenda, Carrie?
Yes, it is.
I like that. Seconded. Anybody? Calvin? Oh, I like it. Yeah. All in favor. Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome, Adam, to the group.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It's nice to be a part of the group. Hopefully I can contribute here for you much as you need.
We will get to your segment here as number 7 on the agenda. So we will get to you for sure, but I just wanted to say hello and welcome. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anybody getting any money? No? Nobody's hiring any family or friends to do anything in the hall this week? No? Okay, good. Approval of the minutes from August. Calvin would like to put forward a motion to approve. Seconded by Councillor Deneen. All in favor? Yay. Everybody but Jordy. I see. All right. Business arising from the minutes of rental rates. We had talked about raising our rates a little bit. Do we want to carry forth that discussion or?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we'll get to talking about the reopening plan and the safety plan. But in with that, there's going to be cleaning costs involved. So right off the bat, we're going to have, I would think we would have to involve the cleaning cost to begin with, right? For any rental we do. Whether that be the current rental we have or any new rentals going forward.
I got another email update today on this, so that I will read when we get to that.
Okay.
So let's put that off until we get to the bookings update. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, we'll just defer it for a few minutes. Maintenance report. I was in there today. I didn't see anything that needed to be fixed, but maybe Calvin.
No, everything seems good. I'm in on occasion. I'm not seeing anything happening. Good that you were in there today with all the rain. Obviously there was no puddles on the floor. I'm sure I would have heard about it. So that's great news. No,
I didn't see any puddles. Oh, look at that. That didn't take very long. Now we're at the booking update. All right, Calvin, let's talk about the reopening plan from Amanda.
Okay, so I have the reopening plan here. We just present, there's some main things I kind of want to go over that we kind of highlighted in red when I made it with Amanda.
Oh, look at this fancy dancer sharing screens and stuff.
Okay, so we can all see my screen. Perfect, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a plan Amanda and I worked on in August. This is the first 2 pages are kind of what the guidelines are kind of telling you to do. Provide as much information as possible. The final page is a snapshot of the safety plan, that kind of stuff. A lot of it here is pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to send a copy of this out after the meeting. Some of the things that highlighted that I wanted to kind of bring to attention was, how are you protecting the volunteer? Meaning the volunteers are people coming in, so we're cleaning and disinfecting. I brought up the possibility of the rentals arranging directly through an approved company like Clearing Hands or someone else that they know to potentially come in and clean the hall themselves if that's something we wanted to do, or just potentially stick with cleaning heads. You know, our customer service, you know, first point of contact is by email. Based after that, it could be in person, depending on self-screening, before, like setting things up. Volunteer staff is required for their own face covering. However, we will provide a limited supply because we still have some that the township provided in the beginning. There is a box there for people who have forgotten. Health and safety concerns are directed to the Nottawa community chair or designated director for that event / rental. Other stuff, you have to comply, communicate with township volunteers, safety plan has to be reviewed. It's kind of mainly pretty simple stuff. So is there anything in that kind of red spot here that we disagree with? Or do we want to just kind of review it and talk about it after?
It's all pretty straightforward, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Again, how will you screen? The biggest part that I had with the meeting with Amanda, and we talked about it in length, was that for renters such as the current renter we have, who has created their own safety plan because they're a reoccurring renter, a volunteer hall board member does not require to be on site to do the COVID screening and take the documentation of all the people, right? So whenever you go to a restaurant, you got to have your name and sign, your phone number, and if you've done the protocols, right? We will be required to have a board member present for all rentals, unless it is a reoccurring rental that create their own safety plan with them. That's one of the, to me, going to be the hardest parts to get through on doing one-off rentals is who's going to be there. So we'll let that simmer for a bit while I get to the rest of it. So then the screening, volunteers will provide the self-assessment, the notice of the screening set. So we've got one at the front of the door. Stay home if you're feeling unwell. We're required to do, the township staff, if they're going into the building, are required to do the online questionnaire. And we need to keep the contact tracing records for a minimum of 30 days on file, which I've already started doing. Whenever I go in, a page gets full, I just move it down into the furnace room and the filing cabinet. How are you going to control the risk of transmission? All board members are responsible for doing this. One that we put up in red was, install the plexiglass in areas at the, for where volunteers are going to be. For example, at the bar. Everything I read about the reopening plan, having a bar open adds a bunch more layers of difficulty on what we need to do. My suggestion at this phase of opening, personally, is we don't even offer the bar open facility. I think it just stays closed to any rental we're going to do. We're not going to sell alcohol until restrictions kind of open up and it's not as hard to do things. That's my personal take. Again, we can discuss that. Again, signage for physical distancing. You got to limit the amount of people, examples in the basements, kitchen, bar, washrooms. And you got to post, how many people can be in there. So bathrooms, we need a sign on the wall. Hey, only one person allowed in here. Kitchen, maybe one, depending on space, right? Some places they want to establish a staircase for ascending and descending. For example, we come in through the main door and you go in, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense for me at the hall, because if you're using the upstairs, are we wanting people to use the emergency exit for using the basement? It's not a requirement. It was a thought. When I talked with Amanda about it, we put it in red as in one to touch point. It's not making that much sense to me for the amount of people we're probably going to have. Consult volunteers, mandatory mask, mandatory patrons, again, sanitizing, face coverings, cleaning of after each event. And what are you gonna do in case, again, this is all fairly stuff. You gotta self-isolate, 14 days, all this stuff we all know. Again, I'll send this out for one review after the meeting. New risk, regular updates, develop the safety plan, ensure regular check-ins with volunteers. How do you know your plan is working? Well, there's no transmission or breaching of protocols. No one's getting COVID-19. That's how we know it's working. Provide regular updates, ensure policies, gather feedback. And this is kind of the snapshot that would be posted either at the door or potential in the little window we have there, right? So full cleaning after events and whatnot. So that's the basic gist of it. Everything I had read about anything to do with trying to set up to reopening was talking about capacity, and for our setting, everything I understood was 25 or less for our hall. So it's a pretty limited capacity to begin with. And again, adding alcohol into it adds a whole layer of other red tape, making things much more complicated. And again, one of us has to be there.
All right. I have kind of an update to some of this.
Okay.
We're going to bore everybody to tears. I'm not going to share my screen because I have like 7 screens here. I got an email today on behalf of Amanda Murray. We'd like to share the information. The hall boards and volunteers are still responsible for contact tracing and self-assessment process. It will be up to the hall boards to decide how you want to manage the requirements of proof of vaccination for your users. Of course, we can ask, he says, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. We are still on step 3, an unknown time frame for when we're moving into the next reopening phase. As we've mentioned many times, COVID-19 is ever changing and often. Regulations and information can change daily. All right, so however, to prepare you as all volunteer, we will continue to give updates and offer implementation to new policies. As of September 21st, the mandatory proof of vaccine will commence. There are very specific exemptions for this, which include children under 12, youth under 18 who are participating in organized sport, written documentation from a medical exemption, any purpose related to places of worship. So if we have I think if we have a funeral or a wedding in the hall, that you don't need to have proof of vaccination. I don't know that as a fact, but I'm pretty sure I was at the funeral home today and that's what they were saying. Several halls have inquired about future events and they don't know anything about that. We recommend that your booking policies be flexible so that if an organization or group decides to cancel due to COVID rules, there's no penalty to do so. I don't think we would do that anyway. The health unit continues to be an excellent resource. Check there for more information. So they said that they're navigating the rules and regulations daily, and reach out if we have any questions. So I don't know that there's anything new there, but I got that today and I was asked to share it, so I'm shared it.
So adding to our screening, we would also have to,
Proof
in
of
exceptions, have proof of vaccinations.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think we need to really talk about the first thing. Does anybody here want to be able to show up at the hall for an hour or 2 hall to be able to rent it out to do contact tracing and get proof of vaccination from everybody? How are we even supposed to record that? Do we just have to have a checkbox that we checked out of curiosity?
I would suggest that rather than talk about what we're going to do should we reopen, I think that we should talk about just only reopening to those who are reoccurring.
I think that would be best, just to stick to that, because even if you had the QR codes, they still want you to have identification, and somebody's going to have to be checking 2 pieces of ID. Kevin and I did go to Charlie's in Stainer today, and she just asked quickly to see it. She didn't ask for a second second piece of identification. But I guess it's all whether or not somebody's checking up on you too, and we should cross our T's and dot our I's, I'm sure.
I think that unless it meets the exemptions that,
Yeah,
that were laid out, we just don't rent.
yeah.
I mean, that's, I don't know.
Not right
Yeah.
now, anyway. I don't feel comfortable right now. I don't know about anybody else.
Kayla,
Yeah.
do we need a motion for this or?
No, because I don't believe we would need a motion because where we sat at, we put in a motion to open on the ability to have the safety plan in place, which still isn't completely in place because we're still discussing.
Well, then we would need to amend that motion, wouldn't we, Kayla?
Yeah, you could either amend the motion or you can wait until your safety plan is in place. I mean, like Calvin said, it's not in place, so nothing's really effective as of yet. And I believe one of your previous motions was to opening to select rentals,
Okay,
Mhm.
if I recall.
all right.
Yes,
And we'll continue that policy then. Then we don't need to
I
update.
agree.
We don't
I
need,
agree
yeah.
too.
yeah.
Now, do we need to get proof of vaccination from our current renter?
That's an excellent question. I'm not sure.
No.
I would imagine we would have to if they're entering the building.
Counselor Janine, can you get verification on that for us? Doesn't have to be tonight, but they are paid for the month of September. I'd like to know that sooner than later so I can give them a heads up.
So
That-
there's only one person going in at a time, or is there more than one person going in? Do we even know who's signing in, Calvin? I never really paid attention.
It's usually Sal. Occasionally, he has had someone go in his place, but very, very infrequently. But yeah, it's for the most part, it's Sal that's signing.
And does that pertain to you and I popping in and out, Jason popping in and out? It's,
I would think so.
yeah, I'll have to find out
anyone
and
who
see what
enters.
everybody says.
All right.
Yeah. And who's going to check on each individual going in? I think if you're going in on your own and you're signing in, who's going to check that? That's
I mean, honestly,
that's an individual renting the whole, like a reoccurring. It should be a one and done almost for all of us, maybe. Somebody check each other's or whatever and get on with life.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think that, but I think if we were clear with our, with our agreement with Sal and his crew that, if you're not vaccinated, I mean, we need proof. And if they're not vaccinated, they can't enter the building, whether they're entering it by themselves or they're not. I mean, that's my understanding.
That's
I think you have
rules
to
are
have that
rules are
policy.
rules.
Yeah.
to that point, they've made the safety plan with the township. So maybe it needs to be amended with the township that they're
Right.
showing proof of vaccination,
Yeah,
not
because
necessarily to
requirements-
us, but they have an approved safety plan, which includes their vaccination proof or something to that effect, right?
because requirements have changed, right? Since that safety plan was put in effect.
Mhm.
Can I
Yeah.
just comment?
Yes.
I was just going to say, as an example, Boston Pizza here in Wasaga, their staff are not required to be vaccinated.
No.
The customers are, but the staff aren't. So it has to be a policy. If
Maybe,
it's not a policy, then it's willy-nilly and we could be in trouble.
maybe something to look into. It's something to look.
That's what they said on the news tonight was none of the staff have to be vaccinated, but the customers coming in do. And that's with all the restaurants. So
Funny. I think- I
it
think
was
that-
Amanda that approved.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was Amanda that approved the safety thing with them? Okay, so it's Amanda I'll speak to then.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I think that we're gonna go through, it's probably weekly coming up, so. I think, I've also,
Well-
heard because it's a public building and if it's open and the washrooms are open, you don't have to be vaccinated to use the washrooms. So, who knows? I mean, there's so many things going around that who knows?
Yeah, and that's just it.
It's done.
As for the rest of the rentals, I've kind of set up the email to take care of itself, basically saying, hey, we're closed right now. We look forward to contacting you when we're open again.
But
And
we
that's
kind of
worked well
are
because,
a little bit.
pardon me?
We are kind of are a little bit open if they meet the guidelines.
Sure, but that will sort out the, hey, I want to book this event with this many people and a bar. Can I do that? Automatic email response comes back closed. They respond, hey, thanks for the quick response. If we get an email asking about a reoccurring event in the kitchen, something like that, we can choose to answer and say, hey, we're only opening under certain cases. But then at least people aren't being forced to wait for an answer.
All right, that's fair.
I mean, that email automatic response can be amended to say that, you know, we're only open to reoccurring renters on a weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever base that it is, that have an approved safety plan with the township or created with the township.
All
That
right.
could also be put in the automatic response.
I don't think that needs to go in there. Speaking of rentals, I got a message today, someone wanting to rent the sign. So I said, what the hell? You want to advertise on our sign, then feel free for a week. So Doug and I came up with some stuff, but it really, I don't know that we have to go too deeply into it here. But we're probably, if you see something on the sign the week before Thanksgiving, advertising an event, it's because they paid us to put it there.
Who is it, Jason?
How much?
Rob Hallred, we hadn't discussed a number yet.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out what we should charge for the sign rental for a week for the ski swap. So anyway, I was like, sure, we can help you out. Yeah, so one rental, one bit of income. And I think that's probably it for, well, no, we talk about Adam here. Maybe Adam can introduce himself to us.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be on here. I don't have a lot to say. I've been in the Nottawa community now for a few years, and yeah, just more or less wanted to get involved in the community, help out. Again, kind of a awkward time right now with COVID and the all being closed, but kind of just wanted, mentioning Kelvin's involvement on the emails, wanted to help out however I can with the bookings, management of that. Obviously some difficult waters to tread right now, but I think all the comments regarding maybe just recurring renters only probably makes the most sense right now. So I'm in agreement on that. Just anything else I can do to help support. I'm close by. I live just around the corner from the hall, so anything you need, I'm happy to help out.
Can you go over there right now? I think I saw something on the floor.
Where?
Sneaking in behind Kelvin.
Well, welcome aboard. Happy to have you and your skill set as part of the group, because the rest of us struggled through that job.
Well, yeah, so far the automatic response has made life easy for me. But if you do decide that it should be changed in some way, or if you want more management of people looking, maybe I need to make a list that we can recontact 4 or 5 months from now and see if they're still interested. I can look to manage that as well.
Sure.
So has the motion been put forward in council that Adam's officially part of?
We haven't put a motion forward to do that yet. Adam, have you filled out the volunteer form and all that stuff?
I did fill out
Yeah.
a few forms. Yeah,
All
and
right.
I think everything was passed in back in August, I believe.
All right. Well, then it's up to us to pass a motion to request him join the board.
I would be more than happy to put forward a motion to request that Adam Thornton join the Hall Board at the Nottawa Community Center.
Seconded.
I'll second.
Councilor Janine, all in
All in
favor?
favor?
Yes, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
We're all
Thanks.
happy to have you. So
Unanimous.
once council passes the resolution or accepts our motion and votes on it, you'll be a card carrying member.
Excellent.
And you get to
Yeah,
learn the secret handshake.
perfect. Well, that's why we all signed up, right?
When we can shake hands again.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, welcome
That's
aboard.
good, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Welcome.
I'll just ask questions as I go, as if I'm not familiar with the processes yet. So I'll learn as we go along.
All right. Upcoming past events. I don't think we have anything to talk about. No upcoming event? No? All right.
Well, I don't know if it's upcoming or just new business. I was just told that former Mayor Bob McKee sometime, once we get open, he wants to have like a little town hall and talk about the history of Nottawa. He'd like to do it at the hall. But of course, that's way down the road. And the United Church gave us the memorial plaques.
Awesome.
And Doug, I spoke to the mayor and he's going to take them to Mike Donovan and have them scanned, high resolution scan, so that there'll always be a copy of them. And I want to take them to my neighbor down the road, Pat, and ask her if she'd be willing to not reframe them, but secure them in the frames they're in. They're pretty brittle and they're falling out of the frames. So Doug suggested that would be a good idea, and maybe just before Remembrance Day we could have a little bit of a ceremony or a dedication, and we can get them put up in the hall somewhere.
Awesome. Yeah, I was happy to hear that they were not going to be destroyed or lost in whatever form they would have been lost in with the sale of the church. So
Yeah.
happy to have them in the hall. So,
Yeah.
And
I'm
we'll
sorry.
just wait on our social media acknowledgement until that time.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Patrice, you have a question?
It's old business, but I still haven't been paid for the flowers.
Oh dear.
Oh, did we
I
pass the
forgot
motion?
all about it. I didn't even think about it until tonight, so.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not-
passed the
my
motion.
Oh, okay, then we'll check with Emmy and see where that's at.
They were replacing the check because they sent it somewhere the wrong place
Oh,
and it never came, so.
all right. Well, we'll look into that. We need to get you paid.
I'm really worried.
Yeah, you see.
I know where all of you live.
I weeded the flower bed the other day when I was there.
Oh, thank
So-
you, because I've been, with my mom, I've been up to my ears.
Sounds like you've been
Patrice's
busy. Yeah.
check in the garden?
No, I didn't find anything unusual there.
All right. All right. Well, we'll follow up and make sure you get paid.
Thank you.
Reopening communications, we've discussed AODA and moving forward. Council update. I'm not sure that we have an update, do we? I think that I'm meeting with Terry next week on Tuesday to do a walkthrough on the hall, and he's going to go over some stuff with I think it's Burnside.
Burnside, yeah. Burnside and Associates, yeah.
And, so we're going to do a walkthrough on Tuesday. I'm not entirely sure exactly what he's getting at on that, but he invited me and I said, yeah, I'll be there.
Please highlight the basement floor in that walkthrough.
Yeah, okay.
Let them know
This
that
is-
in the wintertime, it heaves up and it actually shifts. You can hear it in the concrete. You can feel the concrete moving.
Yeah, this is probably specific to AODA and not so much to what we want to have fixed and not fixed in the hall. So I will, if it falls under what, if the building's going to fall down because of it, then yeah, we probably need to discuss it. Kitchen inspection, I guess we're due again from the health unit.
No, we're not. I reread that email, Jason, because we were already inspected in Nottawa, and I think Dentroon are exempt.
Oh, all right. Well, great. I love being exempt. Now there was an email come out the other day about virtual meetings. And I think that they're going to continue
Till the end of the year.
Yeah, with the townships.
Yeah.
I would be happy if they continued forever, although I do like to see you guys and go for a beer afterwards sometimes, or an adult beverage of kind of sorts. I don't mind the Zoom meeting, so we'll see if maybe we can find a way to continue that. Is there anything else that we need to discuss about the that we may have missed? No. Awesome. Our next meeting is October the 13th at 7:30.
Is Carrie able
to a Wednesday? Sorry.
Yeah, we can move that if it works better for Carrie.
October 13th is a Wednesday.
See, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll move that to that's our next meeting is October the 13th, 7:30. We need a motion to adjourn if we could.
Just before we do a motion to adjourn,
or anything else.
Well, it's really related to the next meeting. We just do a quick check and everybody make that meeting. Like, I know we're moving for Carrie, but I just want to make sure so we don't get stuck like last time. Do we have quorum? Like, we're all good. That's all I'm looking for.
I think what happened last time with quorum was that some things came up for some people that
Absolutely.
It wasn't determined a month ahead of time whether or not we would have the quorum.
Okay.
I got booked for something last minute, and that's kind of how my life works. So
fair enough.
Yeah. So notice to adjourn, or motion to adjourn, Carrie. Yeah. Second. Councillor Deneen, all in favor. Everybody, excellent. Well, I'll talk on the 13th.